In this video, I will try to provide you with some idea of what the CMC looks for in student resumes during the review process. You'll get a peek into how our resume reviewers assess student resumes as this video looks at a pretend student's example and see how it might progress if it went through the CMC's review process. The feedback provided to students from each review is inspired by the CMC's employer recruiters. The CMC frequently sends out surveys to our recruiters to get a better idea of what they want to see in student resumes. The CMC then adjusts the feedback we provide to students to better match that of our recruiters. The end goal here is to ensure that student resumes are as strong as possible and meet the employer's expectations. So here we have Steve's first submission into the review process. Already there are quite a few issues that jump out to me. First, I can see that it's more than one page. Recruiters have told us that typically 2-page resumes are reserved only for applicants with 10 or more years of relevant work experience. Recruiters are going to read dozens of resumes from Texas Tech alone for one job, but they're also going to have resumes from other universities as well. If a student had a 2-page resume, the recruiter's work is essentially doubled in that instance. That resume better have only relevant information to make it worthwhile. Chances are, however, that it doesn't, so it's best to just stick to one page. We also have some inconsistencies with the spacing of the resume. It's especially easy to see in the education experience. Look at the large gap between the university name and the degree title versus the amount of space between the bullets. The name at the top really needs to pop off the page as well, but this name is the exact same size as the body content, so it's not happening. The section headers are also not consistent. Some are in all caps while others only have the first letter of each word capitalized. There's also a line above the section header here, but that line appears below the other section headers. Here we have an objective, and objectives are fairly outdated. They're pretty much unnecessary, especially if it's a general objective like what we have here. In this instance, just the act of applying for a marketing position will accomplish the exact same goal as the objective, so the objective can be removed altogether. Looking at the experiences themselves, there are a few issues with the dates and locations. Right now, the dates and locations are placed on the right side of the page, but they actually have left alignment. In other words, they're starting at the same point. See? What we need are for the dates and locations to have right alignment. They need to be ending at the same point, and that point needs to be the right margin. There are also some inconsistencies with the dashes of the dates. Some dashes are large, while others are small. The before and after spacing is also unbalanced and inconsistent, as some dashes have before and after spacing while some don't. Small or large dashes, before and after spacing, or no before and after spacing. It makes no difference how you decide to format these dashes as long as they're consistent. We also want to avoid abbreviating months or years in a resume. I'm seeing that the first lines of experiences are also a bit larger in size compared to the rest of the content. We want the content of the resume, which includes literally anything on the page that isn't your name at the top or a main section header, to be the same font size. Change the way it looks with bold, italics, or alignment, that's fine, but we want to make sure that the size is consistent and that the size is between 10 to 12 points. There are also some inconsistencies with the formatting of experiences within different sections. Compare the education experiences to the work experiences. Note the slight differences there. The CMC actually has a video that goes into more detail on the subject, and I'll include a link below. Taking a closer look at the two work experiences, they're not quite in reverse chronological order. They actually need to be flipped in ordering to have the most recent or ongoing end date appear first. When it comes to reverse chronological order, think of it like lining people up by their last name first. You're going to look at the end date first, and whatever is the most recent end date or the most ongoing end date, that goes at the top of that section. For the campus involvement section, we want to avoid using seasonal denominations for experiences. Think of seasonal denominations as only being used for academic honors you're given, like dean's lists, president's lists, or scholarships. We want months and years here. Lastly, we want to avoid a skills section that lists general or common skills. Instead, these kinds of skills should be incorporated within the bullets somehow. Instead of listing common skills like Microsoft Office, explain how you use the different programs in your different experiences. I think this is good for a first review. I haven't touched on the content or wording yet, but I don't want to overwhelm Steve at this point, considering how much work the resume needs right now. So let's assume I send Steve feedback concerning the issues we've already touched on. Steve looks over the feedback, revises his resume, and re-uploads the resume for a second review. See Part 2 in the series to see Steve's progress.